Hey filthy casuals, are you an Octoling who can't seem to catch a break? Or an Inkling who finds themselves constantly being splatted more than their teammates? Then you have come to the right place. Today I will be discussing 10 surefire ways to improve your skills in Splatoon 3. Let's kick things off with play the story mode. The story mode in Splatoon 3 does a fantastic job of helping you learn the mechanics of the game. You will use a variety of weapons, sub-weapons, and special weapons, learn movement mechanics, learn to find cover and retreat properly, and more. Plus, the story is actually really cool. This is a fantastic place to start for people who are very new to the game, or who find themselves stuck in online battles and need a low-consequences way to practice new skills. But what about after that when you've begun playing matches? Watch your replays. Do you find that you are constantly making the same mistakes? Lots of people do, and a lot of it is due to a lack of knowing what the mistakes really are. The best way to identify mistakes to begin fixing them is to watch replays and analyze your playing. This is something that I've not done nearly enough of, and I plan to start doing some replay reviews on my streams to help me and my viewers learn from my mistakes. But be better than me and start doing this right away. Our next tip, find your playstyle. Everyone has a different playstyle in every game. Some people are great at being backliners, some skirmishers or slayers. If you find yourself running toward the enemy and fighting head-on, then you probably need to learn how to skirmish. If you find yourself sitting back and trying to splat people from distance, then beginning to learn backliner techniques will be a big asset to you. And what kind of playstyle you prefer has a massive bearing on how you decide what weapon class to main. Which brings us to pick the right weapon class. There are all kinds of weapon classes in the Splatoon series, and Splatoon 3 brought us even more. But how do you pick? Well, it goes back to point 3, your playstyle. Weapon classes like Chargers and Splatlings are primarily for backliners. They have the range to control large areas, but due to needing to charge, they are not the best for close quarter skirmishing. Similarly, you need to consider the game mode you are playing. If you're playing Turf Wars, then being able to splat is important, but you also need something that can ink turf really well. If you are primarily playing Anarchy battles, then being able to splat becomes more important than ink coverage in most modes, but you will still need to be able to ink well enough to allow you the best movement options. Which reminds me, learn to move. Movement is one of the things that really sets players apart. It isn't too hard to improve your aim to a point where you are hitting shots more often than you miss. But if you have to stand still to do so, you're going to be calamari before you know it. The biggest thing is learning how to move evasively while keeping your aim locked on your opponent. This allows you to avoid their shots while still damaging them. Another huge part, especially for pushing against backliners, is cover. If an opponent charger or splatling is controlling an area from a perch where you can't approach easily, you need to learn to find cover and move between them quickly. And the best way to do that is to learn the maps. Map knowledge is a massive help. From being able to find the best flanking routes to knowing where you are in relation to cover without having to look around, map knowledge can take your game to the next level. Obviously, just playing the game a lot can help you get this knowledge as you spend more time in the maps. But another great way to learn the maps is to use recon mode. There's a goldfish in the square right next to where you load in when you first start up the game. You can talk to them, and they will allow you to enter a map in its state for the game mode in question, which is important because the map layout, spawn points, and cover do change slightly between different game modes. Take some time to check out the maps you feel like give you the most trouble. Start using tilt controls. Don't leave. I know for some of you, you just lost all interest, especially those of you who are coming from other shooter games. I also hated hearing this advice when I first picked up the game. Everyone was saying it's the way to go, but I always hated motion controls in other games. But I finally bit the bullet, or ink blob, and made the switch. And I can honestly say it has been the biggest boon to my playing. There's a steep learning curve, especially if you've been playing without them since launch, but spend some time practicing it, maybe even replay some story mode levels with motion controls on, and you will see a difference in your accuracy pretty quickly. I would recommend doing this before you find the best weapon for you. Like the weapon class tip, you need to find which weapon in the class is the right fit for you. Take some time to watch or read through some weapon tier lists. Squid School on YouTube has some good ones. But remember that while using an S tier weapon seems like the best option, it may not work for you. The kit of an A or B tier weapon may work better for you, your playstyle, and or the game modes you play most. With that, follow Splatoon content creators. Check out some content creators. A big one is Squid School. He does tons of short and long form videos explaining the mechanics of the game all the way from the basics to competitive play. There are tons of other great creators like Prochara who are competitive players themselves and have a lot of great content about the game. Even just content creators who play the game on stream are great, as you can see how they play and learn new skills or learn from their mistakes, which includes Octagonal Square. Oh wait, that's me. Well, can't argue with the omnipotent conscience that created the text. Look, I'm not a pro player. I'm not even A rank yet. But for me and many others, we learn by watching and mimicking. So, if you subscribe and come watch my streams and videos, you'll get to come alongside me on this journey to improve my skills and can learn as I do. Still, subscribe to the other better channels I know I have. But I think watching a casual player learn to get better is more useful at times than seeing really good players tell you how they got better in the past. So with that, we have our final tip. Get better internet. While many of you likely don't have a say in your internet plan, one thing you can do is make sure you are using a wired Ethernet connection. If you have a Switch OLED, just plug it right in. If you have a regular Switch, get an Ethernet adapter. This will really help reduce your lag in games. While it may not improve your playing, you are less likely to get splattered by lag and will be able to get and stay in more matches. Splatoon 3 is a fantastic game, and I hope you will have as much fun getting better at it as I am. If you liked the video, consider checking out the video on the left here. I think you'll like it. Stay casual.